Hi, my name is Don Kanak from Prudential Corporation Asia, and I'm here to report on the result of one of the sessions which we just had at the World Economic Forum here in Jakarta, Indonesia. The session was entitled Regional Reverberations, Responding to Disasters in Asia. It was a lively discussion. We had representatives of the public sector, the private sector, and NGOs. We started off with a discussion of Asia as number one. I think of Asia these days as becoming number one in a range of areas, including economic areas. But Asia has been number one in disasters for quite some time. Over a period of time starting in 1980, for 30 years, if you measure it, Asia has about 85% of the world's deaths related to natural disasters, and about 38% of economic damage related to natural disasters. And it covers the full range of disasters and the full range of geography in Asia. So it's clearly a topic which all the participants know is extremely important, and an area that's attracting a lot of attention and good work. The participants covered a wide range of personal experience and institutional experience over the last 10 years in particular, from their unique perspectives, government, NGOs, and the private sector. And it's very difficult to summarize this in a short phrase, but I think it comes down to what I would call 4 C's. First of all, complexity. I think it was widely recognized by anybody and everybody in the session that this is an extraordinary complex issue. You've got every sector of society economically, you've got political complexity, you've got international complexity, and so when you're dealing with this on multiple levels, regional, national, and local, you can imagine that it's a difficult problem to wrestle with. Which gets to the second C, which is coordination. There really needs to be tremendous coordination among all those sectors and levels of government in order to make it work. And I think it was the impression among all the people who participated that we're getting better at that, but it still needs to be improved. Thirdly, community. It's very important that if solutions are going to work, they don't just work at a regional or national level, they have to work at the community level. The community-led and market-driven is a phrase that was really echoed throughout the group, and I think everybody responded well. That if it doesn't play at the community level, it really doesn't work. And then finally, the spirit of cooperation, that it really takes not only public sector and civil society, but full participation of the private sector, both in what the private sector, how it conducts its business, and also in activities of corporate social responsibility to support disaster relief and preparation for disaster relief. We talked about 3 phases: response, immediate response, we talked about recovery and restoration, and then finally we talked about this issue of resilience and making facilities harder to be damaged by disaster and making communities more able to respond. In all 3 of those phases, it was clear that there's a role for all sectors of society to play. Particularly in this final phase of preparation, I think it's an area where we need to spend more time and more resources. Currently, only about 0.7% of global spending on humanitarian assistance is going toward preparation and risk reduction. That's not enough, either in percentage terms or absolute terms, and that's an area where we need to provide further support and attention. There were some specific recommendations about advanced preparations that need to be put in place so that materials and humans and special skills can cross borders at times of relief and crisis to deal with disasters and not get hung up with customs or regulation issues which can impede the recovery efforts. And also we talked about advanced preparation that needs to be done in terms of financial assistance, that there could be more attention paid to insurance products or pre-funding for risk that could be available quickly in the time that funds were needed. And specifically, we talked about the possibility of some sort of Asia-wide regional facility, what we could call it an Asia Disaster Bank or a Disaster Bank for Asia. It would provide short-term funding or long-term funding, and specifically targeted at disasters, making money available quickly in the case of relief, or again, longer-term financing to deal with this question of disaster-resilient infrastructure and community preparation. It's a wide-ranging discussion. Excellent input from the panel, and it was a good part of it. Thank you.